Welcome back to the Compound Podcast. This is episode 123.
Six.
Holy smokes. Is it actually 126?
Read the email.
Look at us go. Look at us go. A lot going on this week. I'm going to lead with this. The Cubbies just finished a game, beat the Reds. Hayden Wisniewski traded for Scotty Efros. Unbelievable debut. Yes, Dakota.
Presented by
Parse Rum. This episode, as all of our episodes are, presented by Parse Rum. Your favorite rum, my favorite rum. I love rum. And let's talk about Hayden Wisniewski.
Wisniewski. We did call him Mike Wisniewski though. All the time.
Mike Wazowski.
He went 5 innings,
8 punches,
2 hits, 8 punches. Is that good?
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
He did you notice his antics at all? He has a little Scott Efros in him. He was traded for Scott Efros, if the people didn't know that. In that he's a little psycho. Like he's kind of a little bit of like a tweak. And I've told him that before. I'm like, man, you're kind of like, you kind of tweak a little bit. He's like, yeah, I get crazy when I pitch.
I didn't notice that. I noticed the red hot that is seeping through the jersey.
I did see that.
He also, in between innings, he's active
yes.
in between innings. He's talking.
Doesn't sit down. Does not sit down. He walks up and down the dugout, like talks, like it's crazy.
Him and Wade pitching back to back is a lot because Wade Miley is nonstop. You know, he's in the dugout talking to the pitching coach, talking to the analytics or the, you know, what would you call the coach
R&D.
that does game planning
Yeah.
coaches? He's just talking the whole time when he pitches. And then Hayden Wisniewski came in after and he was same way. So that was
I need you to learn your teammate's last name.
No,
right?
you know what? His name's Hayden. His last name's Wisniewski.
Krzyzewski.
Wesneski. I'm pretty sure it's Wesneski. I could be wrong, but I've always
Wazowski?
called him Wes. I just call him Wes.
Why just call him Hayden?
But yeah, back to him being crazy. We were in Columbus last week and he threw out of the bullpen and we were losing like 7-1. And he went out there and went like 1-2-3 in his first inning. And he came in like pissed. He's like, man, left a fucking strikeout on the table. I had a fucking strikeout. I should have struck that guy out. I left it on the table. Fuck. I'm like, dude, we just gave up 7 runs in like 3 innings. You went 1-2-3. Great job.
Yeah, take it easy, huh?
Yeah.
Where are you guys? Where in the world are you guys right now?
Jacksonville, Florida.
You're in Jacksonville. Tell us about you just played TPC Sawgrass on the off day.
Sure did.
Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, first, Ian Happ with the prediction of a lifetime. I asked you for your prediction. You said 98, and I shot a 98. I went in and I said, if I shoot under 100, I'm going to be pumped. But I still ended up pissed off because I shot a 44 on the front, best golf of my life, and a 54 on the back, real bad.
You were counting your score.
I was 100% counting because at the turn, I'm like, I'm at 44. I can shoot a 55 on the back. And I almost used every bit of it.
That golf course, though, has a much harder back nine than front nine. That is real.
Yes. But I also said before you got on, Ian, I was saying to Tom and Zach, it blew me away. Like I went in with high expectations and it was how pristine it is. It was incredible. It was worth every penny to play there.
Did everyone in your group hit 17 green?
No.
There was one water ball.
Well, there was 8 of us. We had 2 groups and there was a couple water balls. But Jared Young stuck it to like 5 feet, and the caddy we were with said that was the best shot he's seen there. And then he made the birdie putt, and he can forever say he birdied 17.
Love that.
Shout out JY.
It was sick.
Zach, where in the world are you?
I'm in Toledo.
Don't yawn before you say it.
Zach's so locked in. He's so locked in that he went mid yawn in the response.
Come on.
You got a 6-game set in Toledo right now?
Yeah, we actually had to finish a game tonight from right before the All-Star break. They got banged in the first inning, so we played 16 innings tonight.
That's gross.
Zach, you know what I can't wait for? To see you the last 3 games of the season. And
what a fucking disastrous schedule that is.
And the best part, the second to last game's a noon game too.
Like, what are we doing,
noon game,
dude? And we play Columbus the week before, which is a fucking driver away.
We play Omaha the week before, which is
Stupid.
2 hours, and then you guys come all the way to us for 3 games.
So dumb. Hey, comes down to you don't like it, play better.
That's very true.
Except the Tigers finished in Seattle.
Zach, is there shifts in AAA
Oh yeah.
the whole year? There's been shifts the whole year.
Oh yeah, brother.
How do you guys feel about the bigger bases?
It's just makes it harder when you go up because you're not used to it. And you actually like it is half the size. Like Scope is rehabbing right now, and he looked at me, he's like, Shorty, man, these bases are fucking huge. And like the first time I called up this year, I was like I was running from second to home and I was rounding third. I was like, oh my God, that is minuscule compared to what we play with.
Do you think that it's easier to steal bags in triple ball? Does it make a difference that it's like 4 inches closer? Because
I
there's
don't
so
think
many
so.
bang bang plays. There's so many. Think about how many times you're tagging the guy out and it's bang bang. Like the hand is reaching. Do you
Yeah.
think that it does make an impact, or it's not noticeable?
I don't know. I don't think it would be noticeable, to be honest, especially because we don't have replay here. So it's like it's the umps are guessing anyway. Not guessing, but you know what I mean, compared to like they can't rely on going to New York if it's a close play. Like we talk about it all the time. It's like you'll watch a game and an umpire just if it's a bang bang like forced play, he'll be like, I don't fucking know. Out. Let's just challenge it.
I would also like to ask you, with the pitch clock and the step off rules and the pick over, 2 picks, and then you have to throw home. You can't pick again. Does that come into play? How frequently does that come into play?
You know what's funny? Today was the first time that I saw something with that. So you can only, as a hitter, you can only call time once. So their guy called it, and then our pitcher they got the sign quickly, held it from like 10 to 0, and then threw it. And like we were all laughing about it, like, fuck, I've never seen that's kind of smart, which is kind of dumb, where it's like, I mean, I don't think it was didn't.
But you can leave if you're the runner. If you see
No, I know, but nobody was on. So he
Oh,
was just like sitting there like, all right, you called your time. If you do it again, it's a strike.
100%. But you know what I mean? Like with guys on base, if the clock's running down
Yeah.
and you see it's at 1, like you can almost take off. Like
Yeah.
the chances
sure.
he's picking are low if he's waiting that long.
Have you seen that happen at all, Dakota?
Yeah. Yes. I did this last series for the first time.
Yeah. And
Do you think do you think if that same system is implemented in the big leagues, that big league teams will take more advantage of that? Like that'll be like on the report or anything?
yes, 100%. I think they'll look into the data of like, I'm sure they'll have advanced data of like this guy usually pitches at this time on the clock. Like they'll have so much data on that if they actually put a pitch clock in.
Then I truly think they need to put a pitch clock in, just
Dude,
with not, you can't have an at bat dictated by it. Like if like you take a half a second too long with 2 strikes, like I'm not getting banged with that. Do it until the first 2 or until it's ball 3 or strike 2 and then bang it.
That's an interesting idea.
I'm so far in on the pitch clock. It's crazy.
Dude, it's just not even like I don't like, like, hey, you got to be careful of how many times you step off. I think that's stupid. Because like if you get a sign too late on second base and you already stepped off twice because you couldn't see the signs, we don't have pitch comm here. And it's like, because you can't see the signs, you have to go like this. That's wasting 5 more seconds because the guy in second, you have to give more than 5 signs. I think that's dumb.
Yes.
But
you think guys will adjust at the big league level?
100. I'm telling you, you remember, I hated it the first week. I got called out for it. I was like, this is the fucking stupidest thing in the world. I was in the box. But now, like, it's true. It's just like a flow of the game where especially in the big leagues, got like rightfully so, you're taking your breaths in between pitches. Like, this is a huge moment. Like, your life could change with this pitch, if you get a big hit or big strikeout. Like, yeah, I get it. But like, there's sometimes where it's just like, all right, bro, there's nobody on. It's the top of the second with like, just get in the box.
I think the biggest one I've noticed pitching, the only thing I would change is if there's no one on base, you can't step off if you're the pitcher. And that, I don't think that would that couldn't happen in the big leagues. Like, it's like you have 14 seconds. Like if you shake, and you see there's 2 seconds, it's like you just have to grip the ball and throw it because they're going to ball you. That's the only one that's tough. Like you can't reset the clock if no one's on. If you're the pitcher, you have to like fake like, oh, my shoe's untied or bugs in my eye.
I got a question for Zach. You mentioned that it happened to you the first week of the year. Has it happened again?
No. And like, even I haven't, no, it happened once. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I lost track of it. I stepped out of the box. Like,
you know what? You're right.
Like,
I deserve a strike.
I was like, whatever,
fuck
dude.
it. Give me a strike.
The hitter one is much more rare than the pitcher one. I've seen multiple pitcher ones, like probably 1 or 2 a series pitcher wise, but hitter ones are rare that I've seen.
But like, I like it. Like I'll take a pitch and then I'll like take 1 foot half out of the box, get the sign, and then look back up. Like
the best is when a hitter's pissed with a call and they back out of the box. Sorry, Ian. And they back out of the box and like they know the clock's running down, so they use their time. They're like, time, like,
yeah.
And the ump has to give it to them so they can just show they're pissed by calling time, basically.
Just angry times.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered with the pitch clock a pitcher who is a very fast worker, like a Wade Miley or a Brent Suter?
Yeah.
Who is just like waiting for you to look up and then.
So like, it's funny. If I noticed that, I don't know if you remember, like probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 4 years, it happened to Judge. Like this guy, I forgot who it was quick pitching him. And like, as soon as he looked up, the guy was in his windup. And like Judge, after the first pitch, would take a pitch, like when he realized what the guy was doing, and he just stood there, like did his whole routine, and then just kind of stood there where I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If I can't call time, I'm going to be ahead of you. And like, it's happened maybe once or twice, but like the umps usually have your back too. Like, dude, stop.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a fear with the pitch clock that there are fast workers in the big leagues, obviously, but like the guys will basically be waiting.
Yeah.
If you can only call time once, because like Wade Miley, through a Wade Miley start, there's time called 10 times, 5 times,
which again,
depending on how many innings he goes. With a Brett Suter appearance, like there's multiple times where the hitter will look up and immediately call time because he started his windup. Or
and
I have a fear of that. I have a fear that there will be more pitchers that are basically waiting for that guy to look up because he is not able to call time.
I think with how badly MLB wants to implement it, I think they'll actually listen to guys like you who have that fear, or I think they'll think of absolutely everything just so that they could put it in there. And I think they'll have every base covered. I could be giving them you guys and them too much credit, but I just think it's such a good idea. And I think the league will adjust where it's like, fuck, what?
It's crazy how much more enjoyable watching a minor league game is compared. Like I watch big league games on TV. I'm like, oh my God, they still haven't thrown the ball. Throw the ball. Like it takes so long. It's incredible. And I get it. Like I get it now what fans saying, like how slow games are. I'm like, after watching a minor league game and then watching a big league game, I'm like, that is insane to me how slow it is.
Yeah.
I honestly think long term, it's going to be good for the product. It's going to be good for
100%.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty scared what the first month is going to look like. But long term,
like,
I think it's the right thing.
Like remember when Scherzer, when they started checking last year, basically got naked on the field and was like, oh, come on, like, let's do it. I think that'll happen to start. And then I think guys will be in the dugout looking around like, hey guys, it's the 7th inning. Like, this is fucking awesome.
It's great. And especially for the fans.
Yeah.
Like Tom, you're going to love watching games with a pitch clock. Oh my gosh.
This is, we're just going to spend the whole episode talking about the pitch clock. I have another question. As an infielder or fielder in general, we've been playing some outfield. Do you feel like you're rushed out there?
No.
Because when Wade Miley pitches, sometimes I feel like I'm like,
especially like if you're checking your card, if there's 2 strikes, because that's when we have ours. That's when we move. We have a normal and then 2 strikes. I think it's harder in the outfield, but I think, I don't know, I get in kind of a rhythm where I know what I'm like. I don't know. I know who I'm dealing with. I know how long it takes. It's in the same spot every time. I don't like the hat one. I don't like when. Do you keep yours in your hat?
No, back pocket.
Yeah, mine's in my back pocket. So I mean, I grab it every time quickly. Like I don't know. I don't.
And once you play the same team in a series too, like the hitter, like Zach. Like if Jared Young's coming to play, like where you're going. Like
right.
you face a guy 10 times, like where you're supposed to go.
Yeah. Tom, 2 questions for you. First one, do you have any comments on the pitch clock?
I do think one thing that's interesting hearing both Dakota and Zach's perspective on it is that I think when it gets implemented, guys like yourself are actually at the biggest disadvantage, whereas all the young guys you're used to this. Like if you're Hayden tonight, he's pitching this now for a year and a half, almost 2 years. Whereas someone like yourself who's playing the majors these last couple of years, that'll probably be the bigger adjustment. But I think so many of the young guys will just be like, yeah, this is how it is. This is what we've been used to. So I think it's coming, and I think it's coming really soon. Obviously, you guys would know more about
it. Yeah, exactly. Remember in the 2017 or 19 World Series when both teams kind of knew that was fishy shit fishy shit was going on with every team. Every team was giving 12 signs with guys on base. There was unlimited.
They were
pitching.
giving multiples with nobody on base.
That's what I meant. Sorry, there was unlimited pitching.
There was no mound visits.
That's what I'm saying. So and we were all kind of oh wow, this is a great game. I got the Dodgers and Astros World Series game 4 or 5 when that went however many innings, and they just kept going. It was like a 5.5, 6 hour game, and you're like, wow, what a game! But you're watching it, and you're like, this is taking fucking forever.
Dude, they were playing 4.5 to 5 hour 9 inning games.
Right. And it's
because there was no mound visit rules. Okay. Each team was taking 10 plus mound visits.
Mm-hmm.
There was no
pitcher
3 batter minimums.
Yeah. Right. So
they were using 2 to 3 pitchers in inning in the late innings.
And that's my thing. So think about that gross. Time to where we are now, where if you said that 5 years ago, and you said, hey, in the next 2 years, we're going to bang these pitching or mound visits, we would have been up in arms. I feel like you would have been like, oh, this is stupid. Come on, it's baseball. But now it's the same thing, where it's hey, this, I'm telling you, especially now where we have the trials for it, where everybody for the most part loves it. It's dude, it needs to happen.
I'm surprised they haven't gone no shifts in AAA to try it.
I bet you next year they'd say everybody has to be on the dirt.
I bet
they try it for sure.
I bet you next year everywhere.
Yeah, no, I know, but I think that pie rule is stupid. That second base.
It's dumb.
Aren't they testing that? They were testing that somewhere.
I think that's in high A or lower level.
No, I think they did it in double A. I'm pretty sure they did the feet on the dirt. You can go anywhere on the infield, but your feet have to be on the dirt.
Tom, I have my second question for you. What's the hat?
I've won it before. It's the Swepsonville Sweepers.
Oh, Swepsonville.
Can you get closer to the camera?
Yeah. They sent it to us for free.
What's that guy doing? He's sweeping? He just got a mustache.
He's like an angry broom.
Was that so?
It is.
Are we hitting the panic button?
Yeah, what do we got? You've had 2 weeks to sit on your thoughts.
Oh, we're gonna do this now.
And disclaimer: so Scott doesn't like us talking about the Yankees in our group message. So Scott, this is a good time for you to skip over the next however many minutes. Tom, you have the floor.
I mean, what do you want me to say?
You said,
are you nervous?
You said you had ammo.
Say what you want to say, man.
We're not bashing anybody. This is just good conversation.
All right. I feel like I was frustrated with some of the conversation on this show that I was.
Is that so?
I was. I know it's hard to believe I get frustrated, guys. I was frustrated. I was frustrated with some of the conversation on this show in regards to me being reactionary. The Yankees now have been a below 500 team for almost 2.5 months. That's a fact. For the first 6 weeks of that, I would say I was like, all right, every team has a bad spell. I've watched enough baseball to know teams have bad spells. Obviously, it's not fun as a fan to watch that, but it happens. The fact that I think I was painted as this reactionary alarmist is not true. And I never felt like it was true. And that's what bothered me. As a Yankee fan, there are plenty of Yankee fans, and I see them on Twitter who, the day that they start losing, the sky is falling. I never felt like I was that person. I do think at this point, you have serious concerns. Stan has one of the lowest OPSs in the league since he's come back. DJ LeMahieu hasn't had a hit in seemingly months. He's got an OPS of in the
He's
four.
hurt. He's hurt.
There's an ankle injury there.
Glaber has really not been the same player. He's hitting like 105 on off-speed pitches right now, and since the All-Star break.
Preach.
Well, there are issues with this team, and I think I've landed in the spot. At least this is where I'm at. I personally, and you guys can make fun of me if this ends up happening, I don't think they are a deep playoff team at the current moment. Now, there's things that can happen. Harrison Bader coming back, Luis Severino coming back. There are ways to get them.
Scott Efros,
of course, coming back. There are plenty of ways for them to become a deep playoff team. But the team that I've watched now for the last, a serious sample size of games is not a deep playoff team, in my opinion. Right?
It's tough because you guys have, like you said, with like guys getting hurt and like especially Carpenter getting hurt. He was a huge spark. LeMahieu, you know what you're getting with him all the time. And then the bullpen that was so reliable, a bunch of guys got hurt.
Can I ask you a question, Tom?
Yep.
Do you feel like the team played so well early and was so good all around, and there was talk of the best team to ever be compiled, that now this bad run feels even worse? Whereas if the team the whole year had played just, whatever their record is now, what are they, a 600 winning percentage, 570 winning percentage? If they had played that the whole year, every month, 570, 570, 570, if they had been consistently good enough to be 5 games up in the division, would there be less panic than there is now that they have been so good, and then August was not good?
Yeah. I think that's a really fair point. I think you think about, there's a thing in basketball a lot with NBA teams. They talk about teams turning on the switch, right? That's a hypothetical that, good NBA teams are like, once we get to the playoffs, we'll turn on the switch. And I think there's an idea with this Yankees team that, at some point they're going to turn back on that switch, right? And they're going to go back to being the team that they were before. And I always felt like that team was a little bit of a mirage. That team, I think the Yankees are a very good team when healthy, but like every starter had an ERA below 3 at one point.
We faced them in June. We ran into the absolute juggernaut. Every starter was sub 3. They were hot. Judge was hot. Everybody was hot. And we got steamrolled because they were at their peak of being really good. But baseball and baseball playoffs is so much about who is hot. And so I think the Yankees are a good team. I think they're going to be fine. I think they have the right players to figure it out, but they have to be, but I'm saying they have to in the next 5 weeks, 4 weeks, however many weeks we have left, they need to find the hotness again, because if you can't roll into the playoffs, you can't limp into the playoffs. I've been on a team in 18. We kind of limped in. We were good when we were a good team, but we played a lot of games late, played a lot of stressful games late, and we kind of limped in, and like limping into the playoffs is not where you want to be.
I also think it's cool. As much, especially just, I don't follow any Yankees things, but between, following all the John Boy people, it's hard to not see, but like the Boone, I think he's done such a good job, especially with like the media too, with like showing frustration, like that day that he slammed the table. I think that was, I don't know. I think he can get a clubhouse, and going into, I don't know. I think I might be a little biased. I just love that mannerism that he gives off, like to the media like that. Like he's like, yeah, no shit, we're struggling. Like this sucks. Like it's right fucking in front of us. I don't know. I think that goes a long way with players who are struggling, or like as a team when you feel that, but you can ride behind somebody.
Go ahead, Ian.
Well, do you have something about this?
I was just going to say that I still think once the Yankees get fully healthy, or as healthy as they can get this year, because I know they got a couple guys that are out for the year, they're still my pick to win the AL. I still think they're better than the Astros. I think they're better than the Mariners. I still think, like, you get to Yankee Stadium in the playoffs, you never know. And you got Aaron Judge, who's going to hit 60 this year. That lineup is still so unbelievably good.
It's a good segue. Okay. We're going to talk. So we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the AL MVP. We're going to have an AL MVP discussion.
Brought to you by CSG.
expert and impartial third-party authentication grading service for sports cards. I know Tom's into sports cards. Tom loves sports cards.
Big
Okay.
sports card guy.
Tom's got a collection. Tom's got a collection that you wouldn't believe. Does Tom have a Honus Wagner rookie card? No, he doesn't. But would he love to? Yes, he would.
I think
Yes,
we
he
all
would love
would.
to have.
I think we'd
And
all
if
love
he
to have
found
that.
one on the street, you know what he would do? He would send it in to CSG and he would get it certified, sports backed by the CSG guarantee of authenticity and grade. CSG is backed by the same ownership and senior management team behind NGCPMG and CGC, the world's leading and largest coin, paper money, and comic book certification service. Promo code gets you 15% off yearly memberships, and the offer expires at the end of this month. Get $15 off yearly memberships with promo code COMPOUND at csgcards.com.